And so here I am again trying to turn that mortise into the top of the blank. And this ended up being more of a problem than it should have been, because I didn't pick up hard enough wood for that insert piece that I glued onto the bottom, and so it kind of chipped away on one side and cracked, and the blank threw itself off of the chuck and onto the ground. And luckily it didn't hit anybody or anything, but it was just a big scare, and in hindsight I probably shouldn't have done that, but it's how you learn. So here I am trying to turn the little bottoms of the two bowls, just separating the blank a little bit, turning them around, putting my tool in there and separating them more. And here I am again, except more of a separation this time. And I got it down to size, and then I took a saw and I sawed it in half, and I took the first of the two bowl lengths and I started turning it to shape. So for this project I picked up a drill chuck, because you can't really turn the middle of a bowl because the center doesn't really move if you think about it. If you ever have spun like a lazy Susan, the middle doesn't really turn too terribly much, and so you can't really stick your tool in there and hollow out the inside. So I picked up a drill chuck, and so then I could stick a drill bit in it and slowly drill out the inside portion, so I could stick my tools in the outer bit of the inside, essentially, and then hollow it out from there. So here I am with the drill chuck again. I think I started with a 3/8 or ½ inch drill bit, and I worked my way up to a full 1-inch drill bit, just to hollow out that inside so it wouldn't waste a bunch of my time, and then I finally started turning it. So this was my first bowl I've made, and I didn't really know how to freehand the outside of a bowl too well, and so I just went with like a really modern, just really straight kind of outside to the bowl, and then went into turning the inside, and kind of went with a straight edge, straight down kind of approach to the bowl, because again I didn't know how to freehand the inside. So with sanding, I sanded all the way up from a 150 to 2000 grit to polish the resin, and it's really hard to sand because you don't want to have the inside of the colored pencil bleed onto the outside, so you just have to go incrementally and work your way up. So I took the ball off the lathe with a little coping saw I got, and when I took it off, I sanded the bottom, and I looked at it, and it looks nice from afar, but looking up close, there are those little pock marks I was talking about from those bubbles, and Sanding with 2000 grit leaves these little streak marks on the rim of the bowl. I think it's because of the heat, but overall I wasn't too terribly happy with this bowl. So I took everything that I learned from the first bowl and I put it into making the second bowl better than the first one. So, contrary to the first bowl, I freehanded the curve on this one on the outside, along with a little gauge I made out of a piece of cardboard to see what a nice curve would look like. But I ended up just kind of freehanding it. You can see the little tube of CA glue on the side, and I just kind of used that to keep some of the inside of the colored pencils in place so they wouldn't come out and just look bad. And I did that, and I tried to give it a CA finish, sanding again from 150 to 1000 this time because of the 2000 burning thing that happened. And so I wiped it down with CA glue, and then I sanded the CA glue off and did another finishing with a clear coat of wax. And this is the result I got. It was really nice and really shiny, and I liked it a lot. And so I decided to go drill the inside out. And then with sanding the inside, it was the same as the outside. Grits 150 to 1000, and then a clear wax paste finish, as you can see in the can over to the right. And that left a really nice, shiny polish on it, and I liked it a whole lot. So here I am just parting the bowl off, and I used my parting tool. And what parting really leaves a ugly impression on the bottom of the bowl. So what I ended up doing with the bowl after I parted it off is I took it inside and I used my Dremel, and that little puck you see is what was being held in the chuck that I parted off from the bowl. So I took that little puck and I used it to test out the sanding bits to see how effective they would be at getting rid of that smearing caused from the pencils. And so here I am, just kind of trial and error with that little puck I got off. And so I took the little rotary attachment so I could be a little bit more precise with what I was doing. And I sanded a little bit, and I just wanted to make sure that everything was going to be good. And then once I had it down, I went on to the actual ball and sanded it really nicely to get a nice finish on the bottom. Then back to hand sanding with some more 400 and 800 grit sandpaper just to finish up the bottom, and then another wax coat finish. And that was it. So I love the look of the second bowl. And I'm not saying I don't love the look of the first bowl, it's just there were a lot of imperfections with it that I got and got rid of on the second one. With the second one, there were no bubbles or pockmarks because it was at the bottom of the blank, and I am really happy about that because that was the main problem in the last one. But this whole project took me around a month and a half. I first started making the blank around March 8th-ish, and it is now at the time of recording this, April 26th. And I probably spent around 8 to 9 hours on the lathe, working continuously to get this project done. So in the end here, I have some details about the money, the time, all that stuff. But besides that, the video is over essentially. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next project video.
Everyone right around me, right around me, yeah. I fear you'll lose. Please don't.